settlers, and also the first Protestant church built on the island, that was in 1769. Then over here to the right, one in its kind, our famous floating Queen Emma Beton Bridge. When you go to have a look closely underneath the bridge, to the right, there's even standing a man who's busy painting. You can see 16 floating batons. With those 16 floating batons and 2 diesel motors, the bridge opens and closes when a ship wants to enter or to leave our harbor. It has been built in 1888. It is a design of a former US consul, Morris B. Smith, and he came up with this design so that shipping would have unhindered passage into our harbor, and also that passage would walk over from one side of town to the other side of town. To the right, we got 4 houses on the Ponda side, and those were the former warehouses of our first Jews and Protestant settlers on our island, where they started the trade in the 17th century, mostly in South America. These days converted into shops. So we're going to drive off the High Juliana Bridge. I was telling you the latest Swiss, and I really needed to have this fixed connection because the floating Beton Bridge wasn't enough anymore because of the increased shipping and increased traffic. So it connects Otruanda and Punta, the 2 historical districts, together. For the people who have missed it, over here to the left on top of the hill, for Nassau again. Also to the left, looking down, you do see a building with solar panels on top of the roof that is right now.
On the other side, you see some smaller ones. Those are the emu from Australia. The emu are smaller, but the problem is they have 3 toes. What happens? Tourists think the small one has 3 toes, the big one has more. No, look at the big one. They only have 2 toes. Yeah. People think they have more because they're bigger, but no, they only have 2. The emu lays a green egg, dark green, the color of the avocado, and the offspring is a white but bigger one. Yeah? They do it, we do it, they do it. They're 80, and that's the maximum. That is what we want. But that's the problem. You don't get what you want every single year. There's some good years, but there's some bad years too. Last year, these 2. Guys, the girl in front of me here, she has a complete naked behind. Tourists keep telling me why, what's happening to her. Is she molting? Is she sick? In the mating season, the girls, the gray ones, they pull the small feathers from their own back, they swallow them, get a calcium to the egg. In Africa, they put only a few feathers, lay a few eggs. After 40 eggs, they stop and will grow back. But you're 8 months long making, 8 months long pulling the feathers out. You might have 1 or 2 with the idiot behind. The problem we got is on the other side here. The black one, the guy, he's the one missing the feathers. But guys, don't lay eggs. Why is it that? So they're 6 months old. If they're younger than 3, we keep them in the white road you see over there. People tell me why you guys keep them apart. You see, when they're so young, their immune system is weak. They get wet, they catch us a common cold, they just die. So what do? Is we start waiting. If we have babies that we run.
And on the left-hand side, you're going to see the old Protestant cemetery. Drive into the backside of Punta. On the left-hand side, when you continue driving, you're going to see 2 yellow buildings. The first one is the office of our Catholic school board. You have several school boards on the island, Catholic, Protestant, and also public. The traffic lights, when you're going to have a look to the left, over the left shoulder, you're going to see the houses of Pizzaman, and favorite houses, and these days dedicated boutique hotels and also restaurants. And they are located alongside the summer shoreline. already over to the right, you will see comfort tents. On the backside, you will see little boats. They are coming on the famous rail line and very reasonable price. So over here to the left, you can find the old city walk. And over here, when you make a turn to the left, the floating market. And then over here we're going to drive over the Wilhelmina Bridge, built in 1928, Arno. And all our bridges are named after former queens of the Netherlands. And then we are at Schorlo, and Schorlo, it is one long street with houses out of the 18, 19 and 20 island. What you're also going to see, there is an eye in the ridge of the houses. People were very see positions in the house, and the eye in the ridge of the houses that have to keep the bad spirits out of the house. Now the first house, you're going to see the June Star. It is over here on the left hand side when you're looking into the small gate. Over here it's standing open. Over here you can see the June Star to the left. Also indicate over here of this grey building to the left. Going up to the right, you're going to see a yellow building that used to be our former civil registry. You could get married again with this reddish building beside it. You see this house to the left, it still has been renovated. Beautiful building, so for sure they're going to do so. Also to the left, built in 1916, it does have the 18th century Baroque architectural style. And then you can recognize it because of the beautiful ornaments. When you look into the second level, you do see the faces on the outer walls, you do see the beautiful ornaments, and actually the building, it is a copy of the former Spanish embassy in Caracas, Venezuela. This is housing a government institution, our central online, so everything you like to know about history, you can find. Then we're going to drive over to the Netherlands. Once you're going to see part of our natural house, on the famous phone and the package. It also does have a nickname, Swinging Old Lady, because it is at least a 30 times a day happening when it is opening and closing, and when you walk over it, it gives you the feeling that you are swinging. When it is a dark blue flag, it will be over for at least 45 minutes. And then the two ferries, they do start sailing, and they give you for free from one side of town to the other side of town. During this tour, you also do have the option to be dropped off in front of the Rifford, the first port we passed by in the morning.